Alright, we're back again with this set, which is set number 60341, which you can't even see there because it's too over there, which I'm just continuing on from the last video, but I decided to halt the last video so that it's not too long and that I have a chance of uploading, because the big problem at the moment is I've just got a lot of videos to upload and I haven't been able to do it. And my internet speed, upload speed seems to have been throttled because, as I've mentioned before, I'm sure they're trying to get me to upgrade to fibre. Or suddenly there was a mass usage of old school copper wire ADSL in my neighbourhood, which doesn't make any sense. But you can't even see the picture thing, so we'll try and get this on here. But I've come up with a plan, which I'm going to get around to doing hopefully tomorrow when I'm not feeling so sick. It's just upload them when I'm asleep. And the problem is I haven't wanted to do that before because it's like, well, I don't want to have my computer going on all night long. I turn everything off when I go to sleep. And, you know, my computer is a big grunty computer. I don't want it to sit there. And I don't want to have to like try and put it on my tablet and then upload it from my tablet. That's just not going to really work. So the solution, the obvious solution is, well, I own like quite a few Raspberry Pis. So I can just get, I don't know where I put my Raspberry Pi 3. I think that's the most advanced one I've got. I've got like some Pi Zeros around. I don't think they're going to do the job. But just get one of those, set it up, and then use that to upload videos over the night. And so they can just start it up, and then they can upload a couple of videos overnight, and then it will all be done in the morning, and they won't be wasting huge amounts of power because they're little tiny computers. And I think that's the best plan. So all I got to do is find where I put the silly things, and away we go. It's like a use of technology. So that's always nice. It's always nice to use some technology. So we're making four of these things. So I feel like these are also useful pieces. Like this is just basically a set full of useful pieces. And also it makes this seem a lot less intimidating now that I've just made all of these and used up half the pieces. And then these are going to go, if I can get this the right way around, onto here. Like, how is this going to go on? Like that? I guess it goes like that. And then that one goes like this. And now we have two done. And then we have to take two more. The only problem with these is that they're kind of odd colours. You can't really imagine. How come this one doesn't line up properly? This one's like a bumpy one, and this one, they're all bumpy ones. Okay. They're not. It's not a smooth connection. That's what I'm trying to say there. You can kind of see that it's not smooth. It's like this a bump. It makes me feel like I've done something wrong, but looking at the instructions, this is correct. Okay, so that was page number whatever that is. You can't even see the pages. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. So these are going to go on. And these are useful pieces. Like, I feel you can't have too many of these, especially if one day if I ever do make some great giant ball contraptions, great ball contraptions. You know what I mean. Then these will be useful to have around. In fact, the recent Technic pile of pieces I bought, which is not these ones. Like I bought a whole pile of these, but they were falling out of the bag now. That's bad. Was specifically to build more complicated Technic things when I finally get around to actually making more videos. So that little red one goes through there, and then we have, so I was quite interested in these pieces. I will get the box for a second. That's my chair making creaky sounds. It's not my bones. So if you look there, it looks like they're the kind of standard Technic connector piece, but actually if you look closer they're not. And in fact if you look at it, they've got like two little notches or something in the middle. They're different to the standard one. Maybe they're a bit longer. So I thought that was also a good thing, right? You get some of these. These are new pieces, and more red coloured things, which I don't really like very much. I prefer the grey. I've got a ton of them. Look at that, there's a whole pile of grey of varying lengths. The grey and black ones. I don't even know if this is a 4, this should be black. What's gone wrong with the world? I guess they're all different colours now. They're all like, instead of just like the even and odds, it's just everything's a different colour. So that one goes there. And then we put that one there. And then we make another one of these. I can kind of guess where this is going to go. Where's the other piece? Maybe, no. Okay, I get this. And that one goes there. And we just need the last green piece. The last green piece. There you go. If this was a movie about Greenpeace, I would have just done the titular line. I just read today and watched today about this. It's the titular line meme format based on some, to me, obscure skit Comedy Central show thing about the titular line from Star Wars. And it's like, really? I don't know. How did this become a thing? It's not even that funny. But it's the way the internet works. You read someone's comment on Reddit, and then you go off on a tangent, and then you're like, now I want to know all the movies where they say the titular line. So if there was a movie about Greenpeace, then someone would say, we've just got to find the green piece. And everybody would be like, hey, he said the name of the movie. Right. But this isn't a movie about Greenpeace, so sorry, Wales, not today. Oh, I've done this wrong because they're not matching up. I should have turned this one around. Well, which is the forward and which is back? I thought I had a funny feeling. Oh, what have I done? That this was not symmetrical, but you can see that there's a hole in the back here. You can't see that there's a hole there. It is, but there isn't on the front. So we have to have them matching up because that one doesn't. That one's that way around. In fact, that's still the wrong. Oh my gosh, they actually go like multiple ways. So I think they got to go this way. Alright, I'm pretty sure this is like the worst thing on the camera, right? It's like, he's like, no, he's got to go that way. Look, it's exactly the same. I can't tell what he's done. He's done nothing. They're like, it's a triangular shape. It's pointing outwards now. You'll make sense if you make it. You'll know what I mean. You'll have a sense of human-to-human connection once you build this, and you've heard my previous comment, and you'll be like, yes, I understand. I know now. Right, so we're building the top bit. Oh gosh. I'm missing a piece. What do we do? Okay, I'm going to move this out of the way for a second. So then we can move this in, and then you can say, what piece? We're missing this piece, but it's not. It's right here. It was here the whole time. Okay. Yesterday, for Christmas, I watched the ultimate Christmas movie spontaneously because I thought, why not? And I watched The Truman Show, which is a very Christmassy film when you think about it. If you think about it in a way that doesn't make any sense, if you're like just, I won't say something, I was going to say an expression, but I feel like that breaks my don't swearing rules. Don't swearing is the correct way of saying that. But it's not really. It's just a slightly inappropriate term. But if you're not conceptualizing reality consistently, okay, so you've forgotten what I was talking about now. The Truman Show is a Disney film. Is a Christmas movie, but it's not, of course, obviously. But I watched it, and there's an actress who's like, I think she's Korean, or she's Korean born, American actress, and she's like a background character, but I had to look her up because I'm like, she just feels like, isn't she in other things? Isn't she a lot more common? Like, I recognize her. I feel like I've seen her in lots of things, and I guess I've just seen her in the background. Apparently she's in Was it called? Not Deep Blue Sea. The other one. There's like a silly. It's actually quite good. I think it's by the same people who made The Mummy, with Brendan Fraser in it. Deep Rising or something, I think it's called, and she's in that. She looks quite different though. And I'm like, well, I mean, that was a good film. It's better than you think, that film. So if you ever get around to watching it, get around to watching it. If I got the name right, if I haven't mixed it up with Deep Blue Sea. Is that what it's called? The one where Samuel Jackson gets eaten by the shark. But anyway, that's not the film I'm talking about. I'm talking about the other film. Which is by the same guy written by the same person and directed by the same people who made The Mummy with Brendan Fraser in it. But having that same sort of distinction of being like an early, like a late '90s film or early 2000s, I can't remember, on a budget with better computer CGI than you would expect, but still a bit dodge. Okay, I'm missing one of these things. What have I done? How could I possibly have lost it? Oh, it's right there. That's how I could have possibly have lost it. I could just have hidden it behind a piece of paper. Alright, so look at that. You can watch that in the camera. That's mesmerizing. They're probably all going to get into sync if you do it properly. Or they won't get into sync. If I was Steve Mould, then this would be an interesting video. I like him, but he does look like he needs a lot of sleep. But he does have a cool name. Well, it's a cool name if he's utilized it correctly, you know. Oh, this is pretty cool. You get the ones with the circles, the holes in the middle. It's like, how often do you get these days? It's like, this is a bit of a retro callback. But I mean, they're useful pieces, right? Like if you're connecting your Technic stuff to your system stuff, you've got to have these around. So we're going to make one of those. We're going to move the non-harmonizing pendulum system over to there, and then we're going to take my cool little. This isn't actually the ladder, so I think I got these ladders recently. This is actually the. This is actually the. This is not the roller coaster track either, is it? It's like something completely different. It's something new and novel. I gotta yawn because it's not that late, but I haven't had enough sleep recently. It's one of those times. Sometimes I just get into the habit of only having less than 7 hours sleep, and it doesn't actually particularly feel like I'm not getting enough sleep. I might wake up in the morning slightly tighter than I would normally, but 5 minutes later I'm like, oh, I'm raring to go. Why has it got the symbol here? It's like, here's a plus brick. It's like, don't forget that one that wasn't in the bag. What was I saying? Yeah, but I think every time I just have a little bit, like I think 7.5 hours is probably my ideal. But sometimes I go through the period of life where it's like I gotta have 8 hours of sleep. And then I think it's how much caffeine I have. If I have any amount of caffeine, then I need to have more sleep ultimately. And if I don't have any caffeine, I sort of get down to having less sleep. So I have decaf coffee and decaf Coca-Cola, and that works out a lot better. So people are like, you drink Coca-Cola. If you knew me, you'd be like, aren't you like a really healthy person who eats really healthy? Why do you drink Coca-Cola? Well, it's a long story, and we're not going to go into it. But these things are going to go down that hole. And where's the other one? I think the good thing about the coloured ones is that they're quite easy to find. I haven't put the yellow bits in. Whoops, we forgot those. Whoopsies. Alright. Alright, and then we have to take this off. And I have to keep saying alright. We have to take this one off again. Because I don't even remember the part where it was. But this is the one thing that actually got me a little bit perplexed. Is that these things go in here. But they just seem to sort of like sit there. They don't seem to. Where did the other one go? That one goes there. How did I break this? I must have got a bit too violent with that. Okay, so they just go there, but they're not really. And so you can see them sticking up in the picture. So they look like that. You can see them sticking up, which is kind of roughly like. I mean, they've got a slightly different angle. not the easiest thing to adjust to get exactly the same way, but you can clearly see them. It feels like, oh my gosh. Are you going to come back and plaster that over at some point or something like that? You know what I mean? So we've made this, and we've made the top parts, and we've got our cake still, and then we're just going to stick our perhaps glowing in the dark. How are these things go together? It just goes like that. 1 and 2 and 3, 4, and where's the last one? 5. So I've got some more of these countdown things coming. I was going to do that tonight, but I'm like, I've done so many of them. Actually, I was going to do some STEM stuff. I've got some small silly battery powered robot things to make, which I have to do quicker because I've got so many of these things and they take up a lot of room, and they take up significantly less room when they're in a box. When they're not in a box, sorry. When they're in a box they take up far too much room. When they're not in a box, because that's how you sell those things, don't you? You put them in a big box, way bigger than they actually need. It's not really staying on. It's a bit loosey-goosey. Am I doing something? I am doing something wrong. I'm just going to put it on the side there. I think you meant to put them on the side, because this bit here, this bar is not the same. It's like, it's very loose, whereas this part is not loose. Again, when you're building this yourself and you experience this, you'll have a sense of connection with me, because you'll be able to understand what on earth I'm talking about, or maybe not. And that's it. That's the entire thing done. So that was quite fun, and we can test it by driving a car through. Where's the cake supposed to go? Well, the cakes go over here, so they sit on the top. Oh, I get what the circle's for. So they fit, and then they sort of stay. You really can't see what I'm doing here. And then that one goes there. And this is what you win. It's not a very good way of winning anything, is it? Or maybe this is what you lose. Whatever you knock over, you don't get to keep. So you knock over the cake, no cake for you. So she's going to get on here. On looking on the box, I can't see what her name is, or any indication. She's going to ride with her microphone, of course, because she's just, you know, she don't live by no rules. I hope she's got one of those little dead cat wind things on them. If you know what I mean. Alright. Gosh, just do it. Okay, here we go. 3. Oh, the cake fell off already. So she's never getting any cake. Sorry, no cake. Got to do it 3 times, but we'll do it 4 now. 5! Well, she knocked that one over. That was pretty good. So it's got some fun value, I guess. But it's just mainly for the parts. It's got some pretty cool parts. But also because it was cheap. And it was the last one in the shop. That was actually the main reason. It was like, well, I'd feel bad if I don't get these. So I could spend my time waiting for them to get super reduced to clear and then just buying them. But they've still got in the shop basically that one and that one and that one. And well, that one's the one I got. That one you can't see. Look, just look real close. Look at them real close, really close. So I'm hoping to get those ones. They don't have that one. They don't have the biggest one in the shop that I go to buy these things. And they don't have the bathtub. The bathtub goes there. Well, I definitely got like pretty much everybody else. Several of them actually. I've been like a huge collection. So I've got so many of these little bike things now. What fun I could possibly have one day, though technically I'm probably just going to keep them in their box and sell them at a higher price 20 years in the future. So yeah, I'm thinking ahead. I'm doing that thing where I'm touching my nose because I'm thinking ahead, because I've got, you know, the smarts. So that part's all done and it's all over. I was actually thinking about, because they've got Christmas sales at the moment. Well, not Christmas, Boxing Day sales. And it's like, should I buy the train? But then I could buy the other train, the non-passenger train. It's just a little bit more expensive. But then I'm like, well, I did buy some running shoes today, even though I haven't been able to run for 4 weeks. And today I had been planning after doing all the silly physiotherapy exercises and getting my Achilles tendon better and doing other bits and pieces to try and get it all improved and just not running and doing stuff, I was ready to go for a run with my normal running shoes, which are the ones I've always worn. The model, not the... I'm not saying I've been always running in the same pair of shoes for my whole life. It's just the same model of shoes. But I got a different model of shoes today, and they cost a bit of money. But then I was going to go buy the same model, this year's model of shoes. But anyway, the point is, that was a bit of money, so then I don't really have money to buy a train. But I always think about it. So the point of the conversation I've just had is that I got some new cool shoes that I can't use because I've got a cold, which I never actually explained. So today was completely ruined by the fact that I haven't got a cold, and I'm perfectly fine to run, but I'm more like, what if it's COVID and I get long COVID and it's all my silly fault because I ran when I was sick. So don't overdo it. But I got some new shoes, and they're cool new shoes, but that probably means I'm not going to buy a train. So true story, and that's how I met your great aunt. So thanks for watching. Bye, like, share, subscribe, and that. Bye.